Welcome to Journ. In this overview video, I'll take you quickly through all the features. Other screens have more detailed help videos. Just look for the question mark icons. Journ lets you record trip expenses very quickly. As you can see here, I'll create a dining expense at the pub, specify who paid and who all participated. I can even specify the type of payment, enter some words about the event, and take some pictures if I wanted to. When all your expenses are entered, you can turn the device sideways and see who has to pay who to even up. And you can send everyone an email that summarizes this information nicely. But trips are much more than just expenses. Our Trip Splitter app handles just expenses like this, but Journ does expenses but also captures everything else that you want to record about your trip. And then it allows you to replay your trip, share it in emails and social postings, archive it to Evernote, Picasa Web, and Google Drives. So Journ lets you record items of types events, places, notes, and tracks. Here's an example of entering an event item. Find the event item, enter that. We're going to call this Visit Castle. Who came along, who led the expedition. We'll go down here. Now I'll show you how to use the camera. We have the Journ camera has a number of picture taking modes that you would want to have on a trip. Of course, we have the normal mode where you take a picture by touching the button. We have a mode where you get a photograph, the normal self-timer mode. 10 seconds later, take one picture. We have a mode where you can get someone else to take the picture of your group. And this one will automatically take 3 photos, and all the picture taker has to do is line it up, make sure the viewfinder has what they want to take a picture of, and in 10 seconds it will take the first picture, and then 1 second later the second picture, and another second later the third picture, and then it'll thank them for taking the picture. Clean screen mode gets rid of all those buttons, and then anywhere you touch on the screen takes the picture. Touch a corner to get out. And then there's stealth mode, where if the image on screen would be bothering other people, you can clear the screen, turns black, and then again touching the screen anywhere takes the picture. Touch a corner to get out. We have a mode where we can take an exposure on launch of Journ. Touch this button, the on button shows up, and if you exit Journ and come back in, 2 seconds later it focuses and takes the picture automatically. We can exit, or we can go to the slideshow showing the photos that we've taken. From the carousel, where all the photos show up now, when we edit an item, we can move the photos right and left to reorganize the slideshow. We can delete photos. From here, deleting them doesn't prompt you, so be careful. We can change the star level of the photo to whether it's indicate that it's a better photo or a best photo, or not worth messing around with. 0 star, 1 star is a better photo, 2 star is one of the best photos. We can do a slideshow, and then we can add new photos either with the camera or the camera roll. They'll be added at the position that the carousel is showing. You can also record tracks. I'll show you a track that I've recorded here. Tracks record a lot of detailed information, where you are every second the track's active. You can start a track and record the route that you traveled that day, or track for a hike you took, or both. You can have multiple tracks going at the same time. You can even tell Journ to automatically start a track every day, a day track in the settings. Be careful running GPS, though it takes a lot of battery, and you may need extra batteries or be plugged in a lot. Journ continuously calculates 28 attributes of the track, and you can select 6 to be featured in this button and also enlarged on the screen. Continuing to touch that button rotates through various versions of the speed, including a reversed heads-up display for reflection, and all 28 of the attributes in order for you to select the featured ones to be displayed in the button. And you do that by double tapping the first one that you want to show and then single touching the rest of them up to 6 of the items. We keep track of all the times moving, pause, not moving, distance of the track, top speed, minimum speed, average speed, paces, altitude information, accuracy information. And the bottom 6 items are real time by the latest second reading from the GPS system. Now that we have all these items, photos, and tracks, I'll show how we view, share, and archive them. You can perform those functions at 3 different levels: the trip level, a day, or at the item level. You have to touch at the very left edge to bring up the buttons. The other 2 levels you can touch anywhere in the bar. So the first feature is the map feature, which shows all of the items from your trip on a map. You can zoom in and select one of them. The navigator at the bottom will show that information. You can touch it and go in and edit the item. And you can use the arrows to navigate through the items on your trip. You can do the same thing at the day level to map the items from the day. We have a financial email. It shows all the expenses, who paid and who owed, and attaches some spreadsheet level data that can be used for verification of the trip. You can do that at the day and the item level as well. Social email. All the photos are taken and embedded into the email if you have specified Google Drives for archiving photographs. Otherwise, they're just attached at the end. They look nice like this, and there's a map link for where each item was entered. The next sharing feature is the slideshow. I can show that at the day level. Play button. We have 2 kinds of slideshows. One is your normal photos on the background. You can stop this. You can tap the photo to bring up all our buttons. You can stop the slideshow at any point. You can zoom in and mess with the photograph. You can go backwards and forwards one at a time by sliding your fingers, or with those buttons you can change the order if you're looking at an item slideshow. You can delete photos, and you can show them on a map. You can do a slideshow on a map. The thumbnails are drawn where the photo is taken, and they're animated up from there. In the upper left-hand corner is the social sharing controls that you have, and it's all based on a star level. 1 star for better photos, 2 stars for the best photos, and 0 star for a photo that won't be used in any of the sharing features. Touching the photo icon represents this photo itself, and all of the specific sharing features will inherit the star number that you specify here. So I can make it a 2-star photo, and it will be 2-star for the 3 social sharing features. There are settings for those 3 social sharing features where you specify it that they should work on all 1 or 2-star photos. You can also immediately send this photo right here, right now. Good for sending a picture of somebody who asks you for a copy right there. You can also post it to Facebook right there, and Twitter. In the bottom right, we can actually add more photos to the roll right here from the camera or for the camera roll. We can add a caption, which will be used in slideshows and social email and social postings. The navigation panel at the bottom lets you navigate through slideshows, all the different kinds of slideshows defined by the length and the span, the 2 buttons here. Right now we're showing all photos from a day. I can change this to all photos of the whole trip, or all photos at an item, at the item sandwiches. So that toggles through item, day, and all, or section if you're not sectioned on days. That's the span. The length is, the longest slideshow is when you do all photos. A medium length slideshow is the 1-star, 1 and 2-star photos, and the shortest slideshow is all photos. I mean, it's 2-star. In this case, we don't have any. We can move back and forth between these slideshows by touching the arrow buttons. Now we're looking at all photos for the item Train to Paris, all photos for the item Sunday, that's the day track, all photos for the item Visiting Castle. This is one where we created this earlier. And you go back and forth through them. At the day, we can go back and forth through the day slideshows. Exit with the return button. On a daily basis or at the end of the whole trip, we can archive our record to our Evernote account. So we would specify the Evernote icon, and it will compose an email to our Evernote account with the subject line pointing to a folder that we would have to have created, all the photos, maps for each item, spreadsheets, KML files, all the data about the trip. We can switch to Evernote and take a look at that. This is what comes up then. We've saved Friday's information, and this is now stored in Evernote for access forever. It's got the payment information for expenses for that day and the spreadsheets and KML files. And then finally, we can archive photographs to our Picasa web albums for sharing via that mechanism. There we would do that also at any level we wanted. Let's do it at the trip level. For uploading to Picasa Web, you have to have created an album named the name that we would put in the subject line, which is a setting within Journ, and then a few photos at a time are sent to not surpass the maximum size with length of a photograph. So you may have to send more than one email, and it would lead you through each of the email. Each email is required to get all the photos. If you enjoy Journ, remember our saying, life's a journey, capture yours.